Y'all, and welcome back to Faith, Family, and Fun Reviews. If you're new here on this channel, I share with you delightful, family-friendly, and faith-based movies and television shows. So we're going to go ahead and get into our special feature today, which is titled Born to Win. And you can actually find this film streaming right now on PureFlix. But first, let me tell y'all what this film is about. A true story of how God turns one man's hurt, frustration, emptiness into hope, faith, and victory to inspire many to be the winners they were born to be. Now, friends, this film was absolutely breathtaking and captivating because it was so real on so many levels. But it's one of those topics I have to say, for me personally, like, I don't know, I try to stay away from, because it's like life is hard enough as it is, you know, and challenging enough as it is. It's just so many different things going on just on your everyday life spectrum that you don't, when you turn on something like a film or a TV show, most people want to escape from life. You don't necessarily want to experience the different things that you may possibly be experiencing at that moment or could possibly experience in the future. However, I still know that that does bring some people comfort, especially if you are in the midst of something at that particular time. You may need to feel like you're not alone, and you may need to feel that somebody truly understands what it's like to be going through what you're going through. And here we meet our main character, Leon, and it starts off with him as a little boy, and you can see the turmoil he's going through at such a very young age. I mean, I know a lot of kids and even adults, you know, you can look back on your childhood and you may have experienced a lot of, you know, coming from a broken family, have experienced your parents or your guardians going through fights and abuse or whatever the case may be, just different things like that that so many people can relate to. And here this film does starts off like that. So right away you're pulled in because you can relate to it. Either you experience it yourself, or you heard about somebody experiencing something like this, or you just understand with just the fact of being human that somebody out there have experienced something like this. So you're just like feeling for Leon, the little boy Leon here, and you're just like, oh my goodness, Lord, help him get out of this situation, help his life be better. And then you just see that as the film progresses, it in a sense gets worse and worse. But at the same time, you can't necessarily turn it off, because you gotta get some closure. You're right there in the midst with this little boy. You want this little boy to win. You want something to happen. You want God to pull through somehow for this kid. So you just can't turn it off. And I'm one of those people, like, I love happily ever afters. I tend to read those kind of books, or, you know, engross myself in those kind of stories, whether I'm watching it on film or I'm reading it in a book or I'm listening to something like that. I am one of those people where I need that happily ever after. That is something that has to be that way for me. So this was very challenging for me to like sit here through this film, because so far as I'm watching, I'm like, oh my goodness, can it get any worse? And you find yourself praying for the characters, even though you know this is just a film, it's already been completed. I mean, what are your prayers going to do at this point? But still, it just shows how powerful the film is and how invested you are into these characters, that you find yourself praying for the characters that you connected with in some kind of way. And here you're connected to, so far, Leon, and just the people that God put in his life along the way. Even though things are just terrible and you just can't imagine how things could get any worse, you can still see God's handprints, his fingerprints right there in the midst, like just the different people that he encounters. And you can understand why this kid does have abandonment issues, because it's like every time he turns around, somehow people are abandoning him, whether they're doing it on purpose or it's just life that's just happening. But at the end of the day, who he does blame is God. And I understand that a lot of people go through stuff like this. A lot of people are in situations like this, or a lot of people are, you know, facing something like this, or have faced something like this, or struggling to, you know, get past that and kind of forgive God along with forgive themselves and other people. So for me personally, I'm just like pushing through this, because I know that this is a story that people need to hear about. This is a story that is going to bring healing to somebody's life. So I'm like, okay, beloved, push through this thing. Let me see, get some closure here. Let me see if this is something that somebody out there truly does need. And I really felt like that throughout this entire film, that this would bring healing to someone out there, whether you've been through it, you're going through it, or you know somebody that has. Overall, it does ask that question, where are you, God? And we have all experienced those kind of moments where you're like, where are you? And it could be something you're going through that is good, and you're like, where is God? You know, I mean, people come from all kind of different situations and backgrounds here, all right, people? But overall, I have to say this film was amazing. It was beautiful. It's definitely, you're definitely going to need those, like a napkin or something, because you're going to shed many tears throughout this film. So I want to prepare you, but at the same time, I want to encourage you to go ahead and watch it as well, because it's real. And at the end of the day, that's what we're here for, at least on this channel. Yes, I want you all to always walk away encouraged. I want you all to be just running back into the arms of the Lord, you know, and just like on fire for him. That's why I do my best with his help to bring you these type of stories that just really help you keep your mind focused on him, and just encourage you to embrace him all over again, fall in love with him all over again. And this film does that for me. Even though it was so much heartbreak, so much heartache, it did have a lot of proud moments as well. It did have those moments where it makes you yourself, the viewer, sit there and really do an inventory of your own life, and the people who are connected to you, and who you can impact, and who does have influence in your life. It does make you sit there and really think about these things, and it does also make you just open your mouth, get on your knees and pray, and just thank God for whatever situation that you are in. Thank God for your life. This movie makes you appreciate, no matter what you're going through, to be thankful, to be literally thankful in everything, no matter how it seems or feels, because it does answer that question for you. And I love that. It makes you think about that question, where is God? But it does give you that answer by the end of the film. And I'm not going to tell you that, because I want you all to figure that out on your own if you haven't already done so, just by living your life here. All right. But yes, that concludes my review for this film. Once again, it is titled Born to Win. You can find it streaming on PureFlix. But before I close us out, you know, we have to get into our scripture for the day. And we're going to be coming out of Deuteronomy 31:8. And it does fit this film perfectly. Y'all got to hear this. The Lord himself goes before you and will be with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. So that concludes this video. Until next time, may the Lord bless and keep you both now and forevermore.